Hi, my name is Joel Matthew UR15CS177, and today I am going to be explaining my third experiment from System Software and Compiler Lab. And the experiment is to simulate a macroprocessor. So I'll show you the question. So the question is to simulate a macroprocessor and its functions. So macroprocessor is actually a preprocessor that is used before compilation. So the question is to write a program and to simulate the microprocessor, and then this will be our input, sample input. We'll have hash define, hash include, and everything, and then in the expanded program we'll not have the hash define and the hash include functions, and we are going to replace each of those macro elements with its definition as defined in the hash define code. So I'll show you my program. So I have already previously made the program and executed it. So this is my program. So initially we are just opening the file, and I have just included an input file, everything here, and basically all the contents of the file will be put inside a string, and that string I have again put inside an array by separating each of the elements using space. So over here we are first using the for loop, we are going to identify each of the statements which should not be included. So first I'm going to have here hash include, check for hash include, and if it's not there, it's just going to increment I, and then this flag which I have defined over here is the position from where in the array the all the programs should be executed. So flag becomes flag +2, so this line will be skipped while printing. Same goes for hash define over here. So when hash define is there, then the next element after hash define is entered into I have created two arrays. So one for defining the macro, and value has all its definitions. So the both will be the next element and the next to next element will be added in the respective arrays, and we will just increment the flag by 3, so that line is not included. And next in the expanded version, when we are printing, we are going to print from flag to length of the array which I have defined as line, and y is going to be equal to 0, and we are going to have a variable called v which has a boolean value true. So over here we are going to just print one by one. Initially we are just using while we are going to check whether the line of flag position is anywhere defined inside the anywhere defined inside the define array. So this is just going to check whether the element is a macro, and if it's a macro, it's the corresponding value will be substituted there, and v becomes false. In case it's not a macro, v will still remain true, and then we'll just print the element as it is. So I'll just show you the program. Before that, I'll just show you the input file which I have taken. So the input file is hash include studio.h, and this is my file, and I've just defined two macros, pi and 5. So over here in the input, we should while showing the output, this pi should be substituted with 3.14 and 5 should be substituted with 5. So I'll just check the program whether it runs. So as you can see, this is my first input, the sample input, which I have directly printed over here, and this is the expanded version. So the hash include and hash define line codes are not included, and the macros are defined over here after the macroprocessor is done processing the code. Thank you for listening to me.